The Wolves stay alive. We get a Game 5 Target Center as Minnesota wins in Dallas to stay alive 105-100. Kyrie Irving now 14-1 in closeout games, losing his first closeout game tonight.
Wow. I didn't know that was even a thing. That's pretty wild to think about. Also, just Ant after the game really talking about how he took it personal if they were going to get swept and that couldn't happen. And I mean, whatever it was that motivated them to push through and find a way to get this win, even though it felt like at times they were still almost throwing it away, every single person being in foul trouble, and almost 4-point play from Luka Doncic there at the end. Yeah, a lot to go over.
Let's start with the beginning of this game. I just liked how they started. I thought Ant came out super aggressive attacking the paint. And this is something that we saw a little bit more in the second half of game number 3. And we had both talked about, hey, if Lively is going to be out in extended time, this could hurt Dallas a little bit. Gafford did a great job out there.
Oh, yeah.
But it's clear they missed Derek Lively in a major way. He should be back for game 5. But I felt like Ant was taking advantage of some of that. He was getting to his spots. He was hitting threes. He was getting out in transition. He was playing aggressive defense. He had 14 points in that first quarter.
Wow. It was fun to see him be more aggressive. I understand he didn't have to settle from 3. Is it weird to say that I still feel like something's missing? And I don't know if it's just this postseason has taken a physical toll on him, but like he doesn't even look as explosive at times, and he's still capable of getting to the rim or getting into the paint. And that's just because he's that good. And it's crazy to think about how much better he could play if his body was a little bit rusted
He
up.
definitely looked tired at times in this game. But, like, again, he's hitting big shots late in the game.
Yeah.
And that's all you could hope for. And I thought they changed a couple of things to start this game. Finch decided he was going to put Jaden McDaniels on Kyrie Irving, put a little more length on Kyrie to see if that helped out. And then he put Anthony Edwards on Luka. I'm like, I don't know about this, just because it's the same thing. Like, you don't want to get Ant tired.
Right.
But late in this game, Kyle Anderson's impact was massive because he took on that assignment. And Luka had a triple-double, but he and Kyrie were not efficient in this game.
Yeah, and I think that's tough to see, especially in a game where you feel like you can close out this team on your home floor. And we talk about how many times it feels like the Mavs and their other guys can get things going. And it's like, man, they play such good team basketball. But I feel like in these closeout games, you can't rely on the other guys. You got to rely on your stars. And Lively, obviously, not being out there, just that dynamic alone. I mean, how many times are we going to mention that? It's because offensively, just being a lob threat, and then defensively, obviously, being able to just get just be a rim protector, getting an extra hand in someone's face in there. Obviously, Daniel Gafford did a fantastic job, especially down the stretch.
But we know how that usually operates, right?
Yeah.
Gafford and Lively split time.
Yes.
And it's significant for them. And Maxi Kleba came back tonight.
Yeah.
Kid tried a couple of things. He had Powell go out there for a run, and then they went with small ball 5 with Kleba out there. But, yeah, it's weird to say that about a rookie, but Derek Lively's been playing some amazing basketball in this series from a rebounding perspective, rim protection, not just blocking shots. We're just talking about contesting, being in the right spots at the right time. He's been essential for this Mavericks team. They missed him in a big way in this game.
We were just talking about in a different series about him. Oh, he's looking a little younger against this experienced
It was early
team.
in that OKC series, and then he turned it on late.
Yeah, and he started to figure it out. So, yes, his presence totally being missed tonight in a game like this.
The other thing is it's hard to beat a team 4 times in a row, especially a team that's as talented as Minnesota.
There you go.
Look, we talked about this in the first 3 games.
Yeah.
Like, hey, if Ant and Kat don't play better, you have no shot. Well, what do you know? Tonight, Anthony Edwards played better. I think more consistently in this game. He finished with 29 points. He had 10 rebounds, 9 assists. All 9 of those assists came in the second half of this game. To Karl Anthony Towns, what a roller coaster of a game for him, because I thought he was absolutely putrid in the first half. Terrible fouls, had 5 points, couldn't get anything going. We're talking about like just really like undisciplined fouls. And that carried over a bit in the second half too.
Yeah.
But it just took him completely out of the game. You're watching that first half going, Minnesota, Dallas isn't making shots. You got Gobert with 3. You got Ant with 3. His third was a bad one too. And then 3 on Cat. Cat was awful in that first half.
The amount of times that it felt like their 3 shot themselves in the foot was crazy. But Cat, you're exactly right. It felt like the roller coaster ride that you did not want to be on, that you're kind of throwing up on, because it's like, whoa, that was a little janky. Why did it go so far down and then all the way back up, where you're witnessing a superstar at times just attacking the rim and looking so dominant. But you're exactly right. To start off the way that he started off, and especially with some of those ticky-tack, weird, stupid fouls that are deflating for the entire team, I just thought was ridiculous. But he made up for it in more ways than one by first attacking the basket, getting the offense going in the paint, and then later on, obviously making a lot of outside shots.
And that's growth from him. I know the guy's been in the league for 9 years, but we talked about him this year where it's like, oh, you're seeing some positive signs. He's doing things, not reacting the same way toward officials, not letting it take him out of the game. But he still has these undisciplined fouls that just kill you. It kills his teammates. I mean, Anthony Edwards was getting mad at Gobert tonight going, yeah, you fouled him. You
gotta
did
get
put
up.
your arms straight up. Like, what are you doing?
You're so huge that just your presence down there is going to be so big if you stay vertical. I love that Ant's a leader like that.
But to Cat's credit, he didn't fold tonight. And I thought it was great. First play of the third quarter, they ran a play for him, and it got him to the rim. And it's exactly what you wanted to try to do to get him going. And then he started knocking down some shots. I mean, he could not make a 3 the last 5 games. In this one, 4 of 5, 3 massive ones in the fourth quarter when you're thinking it's closing time. How's Minnesota going to function? And to his credit, the guy knocked down shots. And I thought, for as bad as he played in that first half, what he was able to provide offensively with the shot making in clutch time.
Huge.
It kept him alive.
It was huge, especially with the way it felt like this team was shooting from three-point line. I mean, they ended up shooting actually 45% from 3, 11 of 24, but it felt like Cat was the one that you could just rely on, depend on, especially there down the stretch. It didn't matter if a hand was in his face. Now, he did end up making a bad decision 3, I think, because he was feeling good, feeling it, and then ended up being blocked. You know, it was, you still see those moments where you're like, just don't screw it up for the rest of the team. But it's nice when you also have someone so calm and controlled out there like Ant, who can lift his spirits and make sure that they do stuff down the floor the right way the next time. But I think you and I, right before we came on, we saw this nice little play. Like, you talk about Cat making shots, but the team was also doing a great job of just understanding and getting him open. Kyle Anderson had that nice back screen to get Cat open in the corner.
And he was directing Ant to throw Cat the ball. He got Cat in the spot. Then he directed Ant, throw him the ball, set a great screen, allowed Cat to get open. And this is what I love about the playoffs sometimes is, Kyle Anderson got played off the floor last series against Denver. And as this series goes on, you're going, he's got to play more. And I think he's done some nice things against Luka. Look, as well as you can do against Luka, it's not going to be easy. But then his decision-making, his toughness, his ability to pass. I mean, he played 25 minutes in this game. He had 2 points. He had 3 steals, 4 assists, 4 rebounds.
Yeah.
He's a role player, and he's playing his role. He's not getting hurt feelings about not playing last series. He comes in, and I thought he was so impactful in this game. So, we talk about what Cat did. They don't, in my opinion, they don't win this game if Kyle Anderson's not able to play the minutes he did in this game.
And I think when you look at those minutes, I mean, just even that specific play that we just talked about, it's him orchestrating things without even having the ball in his hands, without being the one that is having this beautiful backdoor cut and moving without the basketball. He's more making sure, like you said, playing his role, getting other guys open, and making sure that they're still playing good basketball out there. And that's exactly what was happening for this entire team. Even Naz Reid, in his 20 minutes, it wasn't his best game of the series at all, but he had some big aggressive moves too.
I liked it. They were trying to run him off the line, and he was taking advantage and driving hard to the cup. And so They were definitely doing a lot more of that today, and I liked it. I'm like, you got, especially without Lively, and at times when you're playing a small ball Dallas lineup, you got to go at these guys and try to get to the cup and try to get into the paint and get some action off of that, and they did that in this game. And Anthony Edwards made some big plays down the stretch. I mean, I'm just looking at the final couple of minutes of this game, went down to the wire. There's some great moments. I'm looking back at my notes. Cat hits those back-to-back threes to put him up 95-90. Luka has a 3-ball that literally goes in and out. Minnesota calls a timeout.
You and I were talking about this while watching the game, and I thought the way that the T-Wolves came out from the start, not only being aggressive on the offensive end, but defensively, they looked a lot different. I know Luka...
On-ball pressure.
Luka looked amazing from the start, right? He had 8 quick points, was making his shots. Like, he looked like... But it still felt like the way that the T-Wolves came out aggressively, on-ball pressure, and then everything else, even in the paint, that they something was sparked in maybe desperation. Maybe it was just like, we cannot let them have this game. We are not ready to go home. And, hey, you get one, you never know if that could be that type of momentum builder that you actually need, especially going back home. But I felt like for the Mavs, like, we talk about a lot of these good moments, a lot of these fun plays. I mean, the 2-man game with Luka and Gafford, and anyone else in Gafford, it feels like just being that lob threat. Derek Jones Jr. in transition. Luka throws it up high in the sky. Kevin Harlan screaming something about, we just witnessed a man flying.
Yeah.
Like, it was so fun. There's so many fun moments, but I just felt like for the Mavs, I don't feel like they didn't give enough. I almost feel like they didn't have enough. Like, there's something else missing from just like...
Well, the thing missing tonight is
fatigue.
simple. Okay?
I don't know.
Luka's not as efficient, and Kyrie missed shots in this game.
And that.
And I'm not trying to take away what Minnesota did, but, like, you lose by 5, and Kyrie goes 7 of 21. Excuse me, Luka goes 7 of 21, and Kyrie goes 6 of 18. You lose by 5.
Yeah.
If I'm a Mavs fan, there's no, like, sense of panic tonight. Like, you had your chances to win the game. I thought Kyrie missed some good looks too. Some of his threes he missed, they were great looks. He missed around the basket a couple of times, some shots he would normally make. The one criticism I have of him is, and I feel like it happened a little bit in the OKC series too, is I need him to maintain the aggressiveness. Like, I think he had a couple of plays where, like, he had that one where he was wide open for 3, passed it up, drove on in the mid-range, had a shot, ends up passing it. Now Gafford had the dunk. It was great, but you're like, ooh, why are you passing it up there? Like, I want you, your confidence cannot be shaken at all.
But he did that, but Luka did the same thing.
I
agree. I said that to you. And there was a time, again, same kind of thing happened. Luka did that where he had a shot over Ant or over whoever it was that was guarding him, that he was in the paint, and instead he does his nice no-look pass to the corner. Now, there was a time or two where it ended up being a great assist and someone was knocking down that corner 3, but it still felt like, make the easier shot. Yeah. Like, get something going for yourself. Like, don't settle. You just worked your ass off to get in there for a high percentage in the paint shot for yourself. A good, easy look at the basket. Rudy Gobert's arms aren't even up in your face. Like, you got to make sure you're taking that.
And those guys are in foul trouble. Make them defend you. Let's see what happens there. But, I mean, those guys have been so good, but it's like, hey, don't lose confidence at all. They still try to make stuff happen, but they made some mistakes late in this game too. Fourth quarter, you had Kyrie had that bad turnover where he's trying to force the ball in.
Gafford in the middle. Yep.
Conley goes 1 of 2 at the free throw line, makes it 103-97. Then Luka hits one of the most absurd 3-point shots, and Anthony Edwards fouls him with 13.2. So it's 103-100 at that point. Am I right?
Yeah.
And
because they were trying to make it a 2-point game with the free throw missed.
He misses the
and
damn
they don't even
free
foul
throw.
Gobert on the rebound. They got a timeout. And that
it would have still taken a miracle, but you missed the free throw. But they missed some stuff down the stretch. I mentioned that Luka 3 going in and out. I do want to mention this too on a positive. We talk about Daniel Gafford. Gafford in this fourth quarter, I thought his second half was outstanding. He finished the night with a perfect 6 of 6. He had 12 points. He had 8 rebounds. He had 3 blocks.
Beautiful.
His 3 blocks came in that fourth quarter. He blocked Ant. I think that was at the rim. He blocked him.
Okay.
Then he blocks Cat out of bounds. There's 4 seconds left on the shot clock.
Yep.
They inbound it to Cat again, and he goes right up vertical, blocks
Stretching his
shot.
arm.
And those are just energy plays.
Especially after Cat is just going off and is like getting his.
Yep.
Like that's the person you want to make sure that you are putting Cat's confidence down. And Gafford was doing exactly that for a little bit, and then Cat ended up fouling out a few possessions later. But I so much love to Daniel Gafford getting his hand on so many different possessions defensively, just doing a great job battling, and then like you said, being efficient on the offensive end, being in the right spots.
Yeah, PJ had a tough shooting night. He was 2 of 9 tonight from 3. Kyrie 1 of 6. Luka 4 of 11. Dallas as a team 14 of 40 from downtown. That one absurd stat, the points off turnovers in this game. So Minnesota had one more turnover than the Mavs.
Okay.
One more. 15 turnovers to 14. Dallas had the points off turnover advantage 30 to 15.
What the
30
hell?
to 15 points off turnover. So that was a pretty insane
They
stat in this one.
capitalize off those turnovers.
Yep.
They did a great job. I mean, there's so many things that they did a great job of. Also, you got to make sure to mention Hardy coming off the bench. And
Jane
having
Hardy
some
brought a spark. You know, Jane Hardy's one of these guys that scares the hell out of me.
Yep.
I'm not even a Mavs fan. I'm just watching him, and I'm like, because he can get buckets with the best of them. Sometimes you're like, okay, you're going to force too much. But he gave them a nice lift.
because
Had
he's
that
confident.
attack off the dribble
Yep.
for the jam, hit some threes.
Oh, the jam. I think you and I both were just like, oh, what are you doing here? Holy shit.
Well, because the part was like, get Kyrie the ball. Let's give someone else the ball. Let's see what it looks like. Come on, what are we doing? But Hardy, he's giving him a nice lift. He's giving some nice minutes. His confidence matters. And, they're not playing Tim Hardaway
No.
right now. Like, he's been a mess. So they go with Hardy, and he's giving them a nice little spark.
So you look at all those numbers, you see the points off turnovers, you see how the T-Wolves got in so much foul trouble. I mean, really,
It's the stars.
There we go.
It's the stars.
That's what it is.
Minnesota Stars showed up tonight.
Uh-huh.
Dallas Stars struggled shooting.
Yep.
And that's really, in my opinion, the difference. And give Minnesota credit. Backs against the wall. You got to win a game. You had to win a close game. It went down the stretch. It's not like you blew this team out tonight in Dallas. It's just a mess. It's like, no, they had to win a close game. And the guy who can be mentally fragile at times, Karl Anthony Towns, was strong down the stretch. And
Down
that's
the
big time
stretch.
stuff. So now the series shifts back to Minnesota. It's 3-1. We've never seen a team come back from 3-0.
Never say never.
I mean, at some point it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I can't imagine this being the team that does it, but who the hell knows? The biggest thing for Dallas, it sounds like Derek Lively is close to returning. He
Great.
could be back for game 5. If he's back for game 5, what's he going to look like? How is he going to move? We can't just assume that the guy who had a neck sprain is what they called it.
Yeah.
Is going to be moving completely fine.
he
Like,
didn't
I don't
have
think
a brace on or anything. He was getting
no,
up
it's
cheering
true.
for his
No,
teammates.
it's true. But are you going to how are you mentally a little bit when you're
horse
attacking?
tranquilizer and you go. That's what
A
you got.
horse tranquilizer?
I'm
Does that
kidding.
knock
I'm
you
kidding.
out?
Well, I was thinking more like a cortisone shot, like
Yeah, yeah.
steroid, but
We're not trying to put him down.
I was being dramatic.
He's in all likelihood not going to be 100%, but
It's not a hamstring.
It's
Sorry.
not a hamstring. So hopefully he can give them something, because I think Dallas desperately needs to have that duo. How many times have we done a podcast after a Mavs win talking about, you see what Gafford and
I
Lively
know.
did combined? They outplayed this duo, or they outplayed this front court. That's been a theme a lot of nights, and obviously without him, you missed it, because this guy's getting you double-doubles. He's blocking shots. Well, tonight off the bench, 0 blocks, and off the bench, 3 rebounds. So Lively crushes it in that regard.
Right. And you talk about also, I mean, you're just talking about him crushing in all these different categories, but I mean, you can't forget the energy that he brings.
Yep.
And not to say that someone like Derek Jones Jr. doesn't bring that same type of energy, getting up in Rudy Gobert after Rudy Gobert's throwing him down with a little elbow or whatever the shit that was. But it's like Lively also brings that joy, that energy to the game. And that's why, I mean, I obviously joke about all the things that you can just shove in his neck to make him feel better. But I think I have a feeling if he's going to play after just sitting out one game, like I said, it's not a hamstring. It's not something that's going to take away his ability to be aggressive off the jump, off the leap,
I don't know. I've
ways.
never had your neck.
I've
You don't
had
think
it
that's gonna-
before, but like adrenaline runs all in that situation.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in Game 5. Is there anything else that we missed from this game? Gobert, he was irritating me tonight.
Yeah.
Still gave you 13 and 10.
He was being a dick. I just thought the way that he
was...
and it's sad because it's like you said, you and I have seen so much maturity from this T-Wolves team, and to see them kind of go back on that and still find a way to get this win was pretty wild.
I felt like they locked in the second half, and it'd be interesting what Finch told him at halftime or what Anthony Edwards maybe said to the team at halftime.
Yeah.
He spoke up about it. And he's looked encouraging the last 2 games.
Yeah.
And he closed tonight. 29 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists.
He looked sharp in the mid-range too. That's...
Are we done clowning him? Because,
who clowned him?
Not us.
Oh.
Just how it goes. Next MJ this guy's, he sucks now.
Deuce, the one thing that I'll always
Is he back?
I'll always be rational about shit. So I don't care about people being irrational. And I think it's fun. I think it's funny. So, people do it for real and seriously, but I just take a step back and look at it as funny. I just respect the game too much to ever give someone too much love, too much shit. That's why even Rudy Gobert, when we talk shit about him being a dick out there, it's just it's not taken away from what he was still capable of doing on the floor. It's just wow, how much better would he be if he wasn't doing that? And then someone like Ant today, yes, you're exactly right, stepped up as a leader in more ways than one. What?
If Minnesota lost tonight, you'd be pointing to one number. Points off turnovers. 16 of 25 at the free throw line.
Damn. I didn't realize that.
A theme too. So how are you feeling about this series, Mavs fan? Is this a game you go, whatever, just win Game 5, you're fine. Or if it comes home and it's Game 6, whatever. How are you feeling? Are you concerned at all? Or are you feeling okay after this one? If you're a Wolves fan or an NBA fan, can Minnesota make this a series? Can they make this interesting? Are you calling your shot? Is your team coming back from 3-0? Let us know what you thought of game number 4 in the comments below. Make sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe.
Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. The podcast that you know.